and welcome to another Slippy Limpets video. I'm doing the intro in the car today because, well, it's gusting 45-50 mile an hour wind outside, and I've probably not got much chance, so you've not got much chance of hearing me. The idea today is to hopefully go and catch some fish using lures. It's the end of February. The wind speed has been mental, really. I mean, 50 mile an hour most weekends, so fishing's kind of been off the cards, as it were, for quite some time for me. I mean, I had one session out in January, at the beginning of January, and sort of I think the 5th of January maybe, and that was canny. But since then we've had two major storms, and as I said, every weekend the weather's just been shit. Sorry for the, but I just can't put it any other way. Thought, well, the weather today, we're gusting up around 40 to 45 miles an hour, and it's bang on westerly. So I've been racking through my my mark, all the marks that I know that I usually fish, and this one I'm about to try and fish today is probably given us the best opportunity to actually get a line in the water, given the wind speed. So the main target today is Pollock, as usual at this time of year. In my experience, I've had some of the biggest fish I've caught at this time of year, so I always try to target them, really. Codling, and if there's no codling around, then I'll settle for a coalfish or a coolie. There's no mackerel around here at this time of year, so they're my three main options. Coolie's probably the most sort of prolific around here at this time of year, so if I catch one of them, I'll be happy given the conditions. To be honest, it's just going to be nice to be out of the house and out and about, really. Feeling a bit of sunshine and a bit of wind. So I'm going to get all my kit sorted out and make my way over to the mark, and hopefully we can get down the cliff. Magsealed post, if you call it that, Jesus. I'd rather just climb without a rope. Well, we're down, and looks like the hunch might be right, because there's absolutely no wind. You can see it. I'm saying no wind, and that's relative to what I was experiencing up the top. So plenty of gusts there, but I might be able to make a go of this. Get in. Right, so I've just rigged up now, tied a new leader with the FG knot. As usual, it's an 8'6", 4 to 28 gram small bass rod, basically, but a soft one. It's called a Lamya Feith, and it's a medium light. I've tied on this kind of agricultural lure clip. It's basically, I'm using this because these slow jigs tend to spin in the water and it makes a right mess of your braid. So I've got this 30 gram, I think it's a Mental Metals. Did a video on these last winter, and they're pretty good. I'll leave a link in the description below to the guy's Instagram page, and you can go and have a look. And they're pretty cheap as well, good value. As I said, this is 30 grams, so it's 2 grams heavier than my rod's official casting weight. So kind of welly it out, but I just use a rod to ping it out. I'm using 12-pound Tasline Elite braid, which is nice and thin, PE6 I believe, and a 25-pound Seagaur Ace Hard fluorocarbon leader. just as a good rubbing leader, and there's a nice long length on that to help lift any fish or protect us from the barnacles. So let's get it in the water and see how it goes. Still getting, even though the wind's meant to be going that way, it's coming around this headland, so I'm getting a big crosswind as well, which isn't ideal, but it's just nice to be out fishing. I felt that hit the bottom. So I just had a couple of twitches on the rod tip, and because of the wind, the crosswind, it's really hard to tell whether I'd hit the bottom or whether I had a hit from a fish. So I wound in rather than lifted the rod tip up, and it's just pulled my line on my lure straight into a snag, and unfortunately my braid failed at the FG knot, so it's time to retie an FG. Catch you in a few minutes. So here we go, retied, put the world famous razor claw on. This is £1.50's worth of lure here. Used to be an awesome fish catcher, caught every species that I can catch in the sea on one of these: wrasse, bass, pollock, codlin, mackerel, obviously, coley. In fact, one of my mates has caught a pike on these as well, so just shows. Let's get it out. So the good thing with this lure is that it's within my rod's casting weight. Well, say within, it's right on the limit, so I don't feel so freaked out by giving it some welly. Just gonna have a little look around this corner to see what it's like with the wind. Yeah, I could probably fish this. So I've been fishing for about 45 minutes with that razor claw, and unfortunately I've just snagged up, and it's time to retie another leader. Gonna have a bite to eat while I'm tying this, and maybe reassess the metal situation and swap over to some heavy soft plastics and just try and drag maybe a worm bait along the bottom, see if there's any cod or anything lurking out, or either that I might just tie on another metal and leave the treble on and see if rather than going for glory and getting a nice big pollock or cod, then maybe I might just try and get a solitary coley to break the blank, but I'll decide that while I'm tying up and eating my sarnie. So I've just had my lunch, and retied a new leader on. It's my last Zen, or gotta stop calling it a Zen. It's my last razor claw. I've stuck a single plug-in hook on it, and I'm just going to try and belt this as far out as I can, and hopefully get a coolie or two. Since I've had my sandwich, the conditions have changed quite a lot in those 10 minutes. The swells picked up and the winds come round the corner a little bit. It's getting even windier, so hopefully it doesn't get too much heavier in terms of the conditions. I'll just carry on cranking this out. So it's 2:45 now. That means there's 15 minutes left until high tide. There'll be obviously slack water, and maybe a cod or two might come out to play. So that was my third piece of tackle that I've lost this afternoon. Again, my line snapped at the leader knot. It's pretty tough conditions. It's quite tricky being locked into one place, you know, like round the corner from here is pretty good fishing, but it's just too windy. Well, that fishing box in my bag's it's like a magic trick. It's the box that keeps on giving. I thought I was onto my last razor claw, but I've found another one there already pre-rigged with the single hook on the back. Let's get it back out. Come on, camera, turn on. Oh, snagged again. Oh, I got it out. Get in. Ooh, snag again. Woo! Come on, fish. Yes! Yes! Got a fish on. It's going to be the smallest fish in history. Oh, he just came off. Oh, gutted. Oh. Well, I barely even registered a bend on me rod. Now we're going to have a little shufty around the corner here. fish. Another tiny something or another. Let's see if I can get this one on the shore here this time. Tiny little coolie, foul hook. Well, it's not exactly the monster I was looking for, but there we go. First fish on the bank here on the shore, and it's a little coalfish taking on a lure that's about the same size as him. Let's get him back. And away he goes. Can't believe that's the first fish. See if we can get another little one. 10 to 4. So I'm going to stick on soft plastic for 10 or 15 minutes. Drag it round somewhere a little bit something closer in and see if there's anything bigger lurking around in the by the cliff walls. Ooh. Oh yes! And a couple of little taps there. Woo-hoo-hoo. I found a bigger fish than usually a collie on the soft plastic. There's a slightly bigger fish. Whoop. Probably about 6 times the size of the previous one. Just cast into that cliff corner there, and yeah, had a few little taps in the middle, so I think there's probably a little school of collies in there. Let's see if we can get some more. But just got snagged up there on my last cast and snapped off as usual. So I'm going to call it a day. So it's now 20 to 5. I was here 40 minutes longer than I should have been really, but never mind. That's fishing, isn't it? We all love our last cast. So I fished couple of metal lures, not much success on those initially anyway, and then had a couple of small coalfish, but the conditions only really let me fish with that sort of weight, 28-30 grams. There's no real way of fishing effectively anyway with any lighter weights, and soft plastics aren't quite as good as metals in this sort of these sort of conditions, but turns out the mark works really well in a westerly wind. And a strong 45-50 mile an hour westerly. But was it worth it? I mean, it's 20 to 5 now. Probably got half an hour back to the car by the time I clamber back up this cliff. An hour and a half drive. Could be longer because it's the end of half term. And everyone's travelling back south on the A1. So that's what, 6 hours of driving, 45 minutes, an hour's worth of walking, however long to set up the cameras and things. And then I arrived here, started fishing at 1:30, so that's been 3 hours basically, and so actually more effort than fishing time, but I really enjoyed it. It's been nice to get out. It's good to, you know, find somewhere where you can fish in these types of conditions. Even though the fishing wasn't amazing, still better than nothing really, you know. 3 fish, well, 2 fish if you don't count the one that got away just at my feet. And yeah, but if you enjoyed the video and want to see some more lure fishing, because it's, for me, it's lure fishing season now, as long as the weather plays ball, then please click the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up as well. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. You won't miss any of the videos. I don't post weekly, so it's better to get a notification of when I do post. And tell all your friends, share out this if you like it, and hope you enjoyed it. Tight lines.